Number one, a student has mastered the rules of subject-verb agreement in written tasks, but struggles to apply them correctly when delivering a speech. Which type of assessment would be most appropriate to address these issues? A. Contextualized assessment. B. Decontextualized assessment. C. Self-assessment. D. Summative assessment. So, unang tanggalin na natin dyan, guys. C. Tawag ito. C. Letter D. Si summative assessment. Kasi si summative assessment, guys, di ba? Yan um, yung i-assess na natin yung overall learning or yung mga grade, ganyan guys. So dito, tandaan natin kapag summative assessment, diyan na yung grade or yung final grades. Ayan. Tapos si self-assessment, hindi rin siya yung sagot kasi pag self-assessment, yan yung i-evaluate ng student or yung own learning nila, guys. I-identify nila kung ano yung weakness nila, ano yung strength nila, tapos i-identify din nila kung ano yung mga kailangan pa nilang improve, ganon. So meron siyang reflecting. Ayan, may reflecting siya, mag-set sila ng goals, tapos magkaroon sila ng responsibility for their own learning. Yun po yung self-assessment. So dito guys, it's either letter A or letter B. So ang tamang sagot po, letter A, contextualized assessment. Bakit hindi letter B? Kasi guys, the contextualized assessment, yan po yung mga nagfo-focus lang siya sa abstract or written test. So ina-assess lang niya yung mga ano guys, yung knowledge lang. Wala siyang real world application. Where dito sa question kasi, si student, magaling siya sa written task, pero hindi siya magaling or nagfi-fail siya sa real world application. Hindi niya ma-deliver yung speech ng maayos. So, kailangan nating i-address yung issue dito gamit yung contextualized assessment. Meaning, dapat i-assess din natin yung student yung kaya niya nang i-apply yung mga ito yung subject verb agreement in real life context. Okay? Ayan po. Kapag real life context, yan po ay contextualized assessment. Okay, next question po, number 2. Yes po, Sir Lechon. Sir Lechon, sa ano po, sa PRC po, mga 1 week or 2 weeks before exam nyo, yung actual exam nyo, i-release na nila yung ano, yung room numbers nyo. Room number at saka yung building, ganun. So dapat before kunyari sa March 23, dapat sa March 22, 21 or March 21, check nyo na kung saan yung room nyo. Ganun yung ginawa ko noon. Chinek ko na kung saan yung room ko at saka yung building ko para hindi na ako maghanap sa mismong exam. Kasi sa mismong exam, guys, ang daming tao. Ang haba ng pila. So, baka kainin yung oras nyo dun sa pila. Baka malate. Huwag kayong magpapalate. Dapat agahan nyo. Ayan, number 2, pa-comment po na answer natin. Agahan nyo guys kasi pag na-late kayo tapos nakapag ano na yung nakapag-orient na yung proctor, ganun mahirapan kayo kasi hindi nyo narinig yung mga pinagsasabi niya. Kasi iga-guide nila kayo din sa unang-una pagpasok nyo, iga-guide nila kayo kung ano yung mga dapat nyong gawin, ganyan. Okay, dito guys, which type of assessment places a stronger emphasis on promoting critical thinking and problem-solving skills. So, wala yang both. Wala din yang none of the above. So, dito, it's either contextualized assessment or the contextualized assessment. Di ba sinabi ko kanina, pag the contextualized assessment, knowledge lang yung sinusukat niya, guys. So, dapat, pag nagpo-promote ng critical thinking and problem solving, dapat meron siyang real life context. So answer po natin dito ay letter A, contextualized assessment po. Ayan, next question po tayo, number 3. 3. anong oras na po dapat nandun sa school? So ako noon, parang 4 a.m. 4 a.m. nandun na ako, tas ang haba na ng pila. Wala pa nga akong tulog nun guys eh. 2 hours lang yata yung tulog ko. Sobrang kinakabahan ako. Tas ang sama pa ng pakiramdam ko nung, nung nag-exam ako. Number 3, should teachers share the scoring criteria with students to guide their performance and assessment? Dapat ba na i-share ng teachers yung scoring criteria natin para mag-guide yung students sa performance nila? Okay. A, no. No, the scoring criteria are exclusively for the teacher's reference. So tanggal na yan guys agad si letter A. Letter B, yes, providing students with the scoring criteria helps them improve their work by setting clear expectation. Pwede. Letter C, yes. Sharing the scoring criteria prevents students from being surprised by their grade. Pwede din. Letter D, it depends on the specific needs and characteristic of students. Pag guys, may mga nabasa kayong depends, mga ganyan, depends, yung mga ano pa, yung mga might, mga word na ganun, might, depends, tanggalin nyo na agad yan. Hindi yan. So dito, it's either letter B or letter C kasi parehas naman silang tama. Pero ang pinaka-the best answer dito, it's letter B po. Yung letter C kasi, yes, sharing the scoring criteria prevents students from being surprised by their grades. So para lang para hindi lang sila ma-surprise. So hindi niya na-capture yung talagang pinaka-essence or pinaka-goal ng scoring criteria scoring guide and scoring guide hindi niya na-capture yung pinaka-essence ng scoring guide guys. Dito kasi sa letter B, yes, providing students with scoring criteria helps them improve their work by setting clear expectations. Yes, kasi nga, alam nila kung ano yung, eh, ano yung, paano sila gre-gradean, di ba? Alam nila. So mas magpa-perform sila ng better kasi alam nila kung paano sila i-evaluate, no? Kaya, mas makapag-focus sila para ma ang tawag dito, ma-achieve yung objectives. Ayan. So dito it's letter B. It's letter B po. Ayan. For example, yung scoring guide natin, 'di ba, yung rubrics. 'Di ba? Scoring guide po natin yung rubrics kasi meron siyang criteria, ayun, meron siyang criteria, nandun yung mga ano, yung yung dapat yung kunyari yung mga specific na task or performance na kailangan nating i-assess. Tapos andun din yung performance level, kung excellent ba, good, ayan yung or 1, 2, 3, 4, ganun. Tapos meron din siyang detailed na descriptions for each performance levels. Ayan po. So makikita talaga ng student kung paano siya evaluate. Ayan, next question, number 4. Familiar ba yung mga questions sa inyo, guys? Kasi napansin ko lang parang ang daming tumatama. Parang na ano na nila, na-encounter na nila tong mga questions na to, no? Parang nasagutan na, ganun, na-review nyo na. Ayan, kaya pala. And number 4, which types of assessment does a teacher utilize when implementing authentic assessment, guys? Authentic. Ay, 1, product assessment. 2, process assessment. 3, written test. So, alin po dyan? So, unang, ano na natin, tama po yung si product. Ayan, product assessment. Kasi when we say authentic assessment, dapat talaga, real guys, real. No? May nakikita talaga na outputs yung mga student. May napoproduce talaga sila na product. Real life, ayan, pag authentic assessment. Pag process, syempre din, dapat may process din. So, ma-demonstrate ng student, di ba? Maipakita niya talaga. Pag written test, hindi po. Hindi siya authentic assessment kasi ito siya traditional, napaka-traditional niya, napaka-traditional niya guys. Traditional assessment po yan si written test. So, ite-test lang yung ano, yung mga knowledge, di ba? Yung mga knowledge lang. Where when we say kasi authentic assessment po, authentic assessment evaluates a student's ability to apply knowledge and skills in the real world context emphasizing critical thinking and problem solving. Ayun pa. Wait lang. Na ano pa. Problem solving and creativity over rote memorization. Si traditional kasi guys, yung written test, rote memorization lang siya. Pero si authentic assessment kasi, application of knowledge na. Na-apply mo na siya sa real world context or practical um, scenarios. Okay? Okay to. Next, number 5. Number 5. Pa-comment po na answers natin sa number 5. Ay, wait lang. Nagkanda. Ano-ano yung... Wala po akong reviewer ng entrance exam, pero meron akong mockboards ng LET exam. Guys, 6,900 questions po yun ng Prof. Ed at saka Gen Ed. So, if interested po kayo, please message me sa blue app ko, Sage LPT lang. Search nyo lang yun, guys. So, yung iba, nagareklamo sila, bakit daw may bayad daw na 100 pesos. So, sulit na to, guys. Kasi sa 100 pesos, ang dami nyo ng questions na makuha. Where in fact, no, kapag bumili kayo ng materials na ano, ilang questions lang, tapos 100 pesos, dito 6,900 questions na ng Prof. Ed at saka Gen Ed. So, sulit na siya, guys. No? Kasi hindi din biro yung um, binigay ko na pagod at saka time nung ginawa ko yung materials ko. So, syempre, may bayad din siya, guys. No? Kasi gusto nung nagagalit yung iba, bakit daw naniningil ako ng bayad. So, no, i-ano natin yung, i-acknowledge natin yung effort na binigay ko din. And number 5, in norm reference assessment. A student's score is compared to which of the following? A, predetermined standard of success. B, the performance of other students in the class. C, the student's own score from previous test. D, the student's score from pre-test. So, tanggal na tong let's see at saka D. Di ba? We have criterion reference at saka norm reference. So, anong pinagkaiba nila? Kapag si criterion guys, criterion, mayroon siyang criteria guys. So, sino dito sa letter A or letter B yung may criteria? It's letter A. May criteria siya kasi sabi niya predetermined standard of success. Merong standard. So, may criteria siya. Ibig sabihin, criterion reference to siya. Si letter B, the performance of other students in the class, yan po ay norm reference. Kasi pag norm reference, guys, i-compare natin yung score ng student or yung performance ng student sa other students. Okay? For example, 'di ba, meron tayong top 10 sa LET. So yung top 10 natin, pinag-compare 'yon para malaman kung sino yung top 1, top 2, top 3. So, ang criterion kailangan mong magkaroon ng 113 score, 113 score sa LET per subject para makapasa ka ng 75%. Yun po ang criterion. Meron siyang standard. Okay? Ayan po. Pa-comment po na answers natin. Sa number 6. Next question na pala tayo, number 6. May ano ako, may dinagdag akong question dito sa pinakahuli na ano siya guys, na pang final coaching na sobrang tricky niya. So, i-discuss natin siyang mamaya sa pinaka-last na question. Kasi ano, maraming nalilito dun guys. Okay, number 6, when can an assessment be considered fair? Kailan ba siya fair? A, when it includes content not covered in lesson. So, unfair yan, guys, no? Kasi yung content mo, hindi naman covered in lessons. Not kasi sabi nyo, unfair yan. Letter D, when it assess students based solely on their participation and behavior. So, participation at behavior lang ba? So, unfair din yan. Okay, it's either letter B or letter C. Ang tamang sagot, guys, it's letter B. Ayan. Unfair din yung letter C. So, odd one out to, no? Lahat, itong A, C, D, at negative siya. Unfair siya. Itong letter B lang yung positive when it measures the achievement of the intended learning outcomes. So, always go back sa objectives natin. Ayan po. Next question, number 7. Palakihan na lang ng mata, guys, kasi maliit siya. Masyado siyang mataas, mahaba. Mahaba yung ano. Sure na ba kayo dyan sa sagot nyo, guys? Wala na bang magbabago ng sagot? Sure na ba? So, sa exam, no, dapat sure talaga yung answer nyo, no? Para hindi kayo magbura. Mas okay kapag walang bura. Pero okay lang naman magbura, di ba? Pero ay mas okay kapag walang bura. Ayan, number 7, which of the following are characteristics of high quality assessment? So, ang hinanap natin, high quality assessment, guys. 1, engaging students in assessment process including setting goals and self-monitoring. So, engage daw yung students sa assessment process. No? Sila yung mag-set sila ng goals, ayan, and magkaroon silang self-monitoring. Siyempre, kasama po yung letter, ay yung number 1. Kasama po siyang number 1. Number 4, and number 4, promoting critical and creative thinking to apply learning in real-world context. So, syempre, high quality assessment din yan siya, guys. Kasi, ini-evaluate na yung students' ability to go beyond, hindi lang sa theoretical knowledge, hindi lang sa knowledge, kundi i-apply niya na sa real world context. Yeah, may application na. So, high quality assessment po yan. Sino pa? Si number 3 kasama din. Encouraging meaningful connections between pieces of information. So, importante ito, guys, no? Kasi hindi lang siya rote memorization. Kasi, pag sinabing encouraging meaningful connections between pieces of information, ah, yung mga student, naintindihan talaga nila yung relationship at saka yung patterns across different ideas, guys. So, alam talaga nila yung buong knowledge, hindi lang yung piece by piece, gano'n, no? Alam nila lahat. So, kahit anong ibato natin na question, no? Kahit anong question yung ibato natin, masasagutan nila yan ng tama. So, kasama ba ang number 2? So, hindi siya kasama ang number 2. Kaya ang sagot, it's letter D. Yung number 2, hindi siya kasama kasi focusing on reproduction of, reproduction of learned knowledge. So, rote memorization lang to siya. Memorize lang yan, guys. Hindi siya high quality assessment kasi more on recall lang siya at saka memorization. Wala siyang deeper understanding. O kaya kahit application of knowledge, wala din. Ayan. Okay po? And next question po tayo, number 8. Okay, number 8. When a teacher evaluates students' performance to assign grades, 'di ba nabanggit ko na to kanina, grades, and determine how well they have achieved the learning objectives. What type of assessment is being conducted? So unang tanggalin natin si letter D, yung assessment of at saka for learning. Next is letter C, assessment as learning. Bakit ano ba yung assessment as learning? Kapag sinabi nating assessment at as learning po, yan po yung self-assessment. So guys, tandaan nyo po yan. Tandaan nyo po itong ano na to, itong tatlo na to. Self-assessment po yan. Ibig sabihin, ini-emphasize niya yung students' involvement sa own learning process nila. No, meron silang, for example, yung self-assessment, reflection, metacognition, ayun siya guys, no? Minomonitor nila yung own progress nila pag-assessment as learning. Pag-assessment for learning naman, ito na yung formative assessment. Yan guys yung formative assessment o yung during the learning process. Yan yung assessment during the learning process. For example guys, for example, yung mga quiz, yung mga recitation, ayan. Formative yun. Kasi para mag-improve yung learning ng student during the learning process. Ayan, during. Ayan. Ang answer po dito ay letter B, assessment of learning. Kasi pag assessment of learning, yan po ay summative. Summative, ay, ayaw. Summative, summative assessment po. Summative assessment. Ibig sabihin, yung overall learning na, yung lahat na ng ano, na natutunan ng estudyante, yung mga grades yan po. Yung grades, for example dito yung grades. Ayan. Sa assessment as learning, yung example niyan is yung journal. So, lumalabas din to guys. Tandaan nyo yan. Journal, pag nabasa nyo doon, anong assessment yung journal, writing journal, ganon. Self-assessment po yun or assessment as learning. Ayan po. Next question po tayo. Next question, number 9. So, yan, madali na lang to guys. Sagutan nyo na. Mabilisan lang, mabilisan. Number 9. Jan actively monitors her own progress toward the learning goals she has set for herself. Which type of assessment does this represent? So guys, diretso na tayo. Ang answer po ay assessment as learning. Ayan, assessment as learning. Okay po, number 10. Ayan, so pag nabasa natin yung mga ano, number 10, is it accurate to say that assessment for learning involves assessment conducted by teachers during instruction to ensure students achieve the intended learning outcomes? A, yes, this is correct. B, no, this is not correct. C, only if intended learning outcomes are achieved. D, partly correct, as it depends on the specific outcomes being assessed. So, ang dami nang sinabi ng letter C at letter D, mali yan dalawa. Basta, di ba sabi ko kanina, kapag may mga depends, only, partly, yung mga yan, tanggalin na natin yan guys agad. Answer dito, letter A, yes, this is correct. Ayan. Last question